This is an incredibly fun and original game out there. And I mean, granted, Nintendo 64 games, I would say, are somewhat intrinsically original because they were like anyone's first attempt to like make, okay, any given game, what it looks like and feels like and plays like in 3D. But then, of course, as we talked about with Mario 64, that inspired tons and tons of Mario clones. Like, for example, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, which I'll be streaming sometime probably. They're more or less Mario 64 clones. So they're not exactly original in the sense of gameplay, but of course they're original in the sense that they're like have unique universe, unique characters, unique jumping mechanics and stuff like that. But this one is definitely most original of all because you are like, we'll see the story here played out in a bit, but you're a computer chip and you can transfer this chip into various robotic animals, and you have to use various robotic animals which have different skills in order to solve various problems. And so that is kind of like really cool. I was actually really blown away with this game, and hopefully my playing it will raise a little bit of awareness and inspire a few other people to play this hidden gem as well. Now, I will also load this up on Project 64 emulator because once again, this is yet another game that shows that emulator is garbage. Like, I'm gonna keep saying that until somebody somewhere like builds a Nintendo 64 emulator that's, oh, I don't know, not garbage. But at the same time, you know, if you want to play games legit, if you want to play games like actually in perfect conditions, it's like you have to use original hardware for this particular machine. Evidently, it is difficult to make emulators for it. And on the note of Space Station Silicon Valley, it is very unknown. It's a very obscure. Most people have never even heard of this game. In fact, just to kind of play around with a little bit of funness here, if there existed a top 10 list of video games, like best video games that you've never even heard of, let's say for the N64, this would definitely be the number one. Like the number one best N64 game you've never heard of. And if you really extend that to, okay, what about greatest video games of all time for any console that you've never heard of? Like, who knows, maybe this would qualify to be on a top 10 or top 20 list, even though it's like this 24-year-old, I believe, Nintendo 64 game. But moving on, one thing that I particularly love about this game, in addition to its uniqueness and originality, is its music. In fact, I have no idea how exactly to describe its music. Some people call it loungy, like you would hear maybe in a lounge, but it has such a peaceful, relaxing, sometimes chilling or haunting, sometimes interesting or poppy sound to it. And honestly, when I downloaded the soundtrack for this, I listened to it for many, many hours over several days. And honestly, almost every other week I was listening to it, and I'm like, oh, I could just listen to this soundtrack forever. And then, of course, you know, that stirs the nostalgia in me, and then, of course, I have to go and play the game. But really recommend the music in this as well. Now, every game has that one level, right? And in this particular game, that is Evos Escape. Now, this level is, it's hard, but it ain't fun. And so that bad combination is, it makes it a very, very frustrating level. I will let you know when we get to it, but I tell you what, I actually do have an extra save file here, so maybe, just maybe. Another thing that I like to share about this game is it has an almost weird imbalance as far as how the development went. So there's like 4 worlds, if you will. Now the first world that you get to, like, there's a unique soundtrack for every single level, I think. And no two soundtrack is alike for those first set of levels. And the puzzles are intricate, the puzzles are ingenious, and it's just really, really, really great. Granted, the first couple levels are like really small to kind of, you know, train you up in there, but it's like, it's almost as if they spent 50% of the entire game on just the first quarter, the first world. And then the subsequent world, world number 2, a lot of effort was put into it, but not as much. Like maybe let's estimate 30%. So 50 and 30 for half the game, that's 80%. So that leaves 20, and I would say the third world, which has far less unique music, has far less interestingly built levels, was also like maybe 15% of the total development time. And so that leaves like maybe only 5%. I'm just estimating and guessing here because, no joke, by the time you get to the fourth world, there's like only one musical track for every single level. And the levels themselves are kind of like they're devoid of anything interesting. Sometimes the objectives are just like, oh, get this animal, get this animal, get this animal. And it's like, that's it? Now when you compare those to the first world and its objectives and its level designs, you'll see the contrast. So who knows, maybe they had deadlines, because of course all video game companies do, and I would love to wonder, I would love to ask the studio or the people, it's like, was there a disproportionate amount of development time spent kind of like on the early levels and then kind of got rushed through the last ones? I'm not sure. Another thing that I'd like to mention about this game is that it is most difficult to beat it, not in the sense that the levels are overly large, because the levels are actually pretty small. It's that the fact that it's actually very easy to die in this game. So once you kind of know the hazard areas, the hazard animals, and whatnot, and if you can stay alive, honestly, it's pretty easy to one-shot these levels. But until you kind of learn what you need to do and how you do it, it's frustrating because there's no such thing as checkpoints. So however you start at the beginning, even if you're this close to the end goal and die, you gotta start over from the very beginning of that level. But hey, retro difficulty. You either love it or hate it. The saddest thing in the world is, of course, back in the 80s, video games did not hold your hand at all. And as you progress forward in history, video games more and more hold your hand, which is too bad. I mean, that's kind of defeating the purpose of a video game. In fact, take some various like popular mobile games like Don't Touch the White Tiles. It's just like pure distilled fun, where it's like, it's not holding your hand. You don't get mistake. You just get good at it, right? I mean, that's kind of a super simple game and mobile and free, but still illustrates the point. Speaking of sad though, even though this game is really almost perfect in the sense of not exactly perfect, in every single course you can collect 15 little circuit things, and also if you perform something unique to that specific level, you make a trophy appear. And honestly, I have no idea what happens if you collect all of the trophies, because there is this game-breaking glitch, if you were. You cannot, there's like no collision detection on one trophy. It is impossible to collect a trophy. And on that emulator, Visual Boy Advance, you can like open up the memory. You can see the RAM addresses. You can even have them be updated instantaneously. So like I was fully confident, hey, all I gotta do is like, this is an emulator for N64, like let's just open up the memory, crack the game open like an egg, see where the trophies are like stored in your thing, and then hack myself this trophy, and then I'd be able to see what happens if you get all the trophies. But alas, Project 64, all you can do is basically like load a game and play the game, and then I think they have some like built-in cheats or something, but it's like, yeah, but like what about like the rest of us who like actually know how to hack? Like where are the tools so that we can do this? So snap, shots fired again. And as I said, I evidently did, when I first got my Nintendo 64 EverDrive, I actually did play through this entire game. As you can see, this save slot here, secure 31 zones, I have beat the game. So if I get too frustrated with a certain level, Evos Escape, I'll just pop over to this save file and kind of show you the ending of the game with that save file. I like how the Earth is upside down. Remember, Evo, stay alert. I'm on a mission. Try turning right. Good thing they blinked. Safety first, kids. This music stinks. I'm changing it. Hey, that's hip music for groovy cats. You just don't dig it. Leave it alone. Oh, Dan, I am so sorry. Oh, and Dan, bam, punches him in the face. Huh. This is the best scene of all time. Oh, Roger. Oh, Flossie. Eject, eject, eject. Oh, Roger. Oh, she loves me, she loves me. Roger, no! That was close. Well, the eject button finally worked. Notice his android body parts flew all over the place out into space, and now we're just a little computer chip. So good thing we killed that dog, because now we can... This is all scripted, by the way, I'm not actually moving it. So here is the beginning of the brief. Smashing start. Oh, ah, ow, my head, sheesh, what a landing. Evo, do as I say, and we might just get out of this mess alive. Oh, and if we are going to repair you, we'll need as many of those purple power cells as possible. So our mission's objectives for this is get some energy and get me a sheep. Alright, so the green is actually our health. Alright, objective complete. We got the energy. So I actually have to kill a sheep because one of the objectives is get a sheep. So if I press the B button, he barks. However, if there's an enemy within the collision detection in his mouth, he bites it. Come here, little sheep. It's okay. I won't hurt you much. So that was one of those electrical things. Use the R button to transfer Evo into a deactivated animal. Cha-ching! And then every time we get in a new animal, it tells us all about it. Type, sheep, environment, Europe. Skill A, floaty hop. Skill B, bah! Water resistant, okay. Mass, medium. Armor, light. Strength, wheat. Traction, average. Fall distant, medium. Production, medium. Engine, bio. Intelligence, very low. Once all objectives are complete, the teleporter is active, and once you get to it, bam, that's the level. Alright. So yes, the floaty hop, if you jump and hold the jump button, you'll like float descend instead of just falling. So check this out. The floaty hop. One thing it is possible to do is it is possible to collect all 15 of these circuit things on all levels in the entire game, and if you do, let's see. Well, don't want to spoil too much. It doesn't change that much of the game though, so I probably won't do it, but when I'm on the final level, I'll tell you what it does do. I believe on my original Nintendo 64 cart, one of my save files does in fact have like all of them completed, but it's not something that I do every time I play the game. And what else could we possibly do in this to get the secret trophy? Well, we have to kill all of the sheep. And you might notice the little blue, that thing started to fade to red. That's if an enemy is in range and you're causing damage. That way you can see the enemy's health flying. But if like I was attacking that sheep and then suddenly it shifted to this sheep, it would change to this sheep's health bar. Evo, I like sheep. Deactivate anymore and I might just deactivate you. Let's just get out of here. And actually I'm going to exit out and then let you watch the cinematic, because I forgot it actually doesn't play the cinematic when you start a new game. It's on the title screen. Play at least one more course here. Have a nice day. Oi, hungry sheep are on the loose. Round them up, fast. Use the electric fence to keep them in their pen. Hey, the scanner shows a mouse with wheels in this zone. Use it to reach the exit. Our goals are to get 4 sheep in the pen, find the mouse with wheels. See, this is like the best lounge music I could listen to for hours. Zelda Twilight Princess has got nothing on this game. The original animal herding game. I like how when you get close to the speakers it gets louder, and far from the speakers it gets quieter. Nice touch. I accidentally collected that too fast, but actually the same is true with these trees. Let me see if I can zoom out. Just like that circuit board and these treetops, it's a static image. Look at this. No matter which direction you look at it, it's always the same. Crazy, huh? You are getting hypnotized. Okay. But you know, N64 put out some good games, even if they weren't all completely 3D. I mean, this whole world is 3D, the models are 3D, it's just some things are flat two-dimensional sprites. Now, what's also cool about this game is sometimes there's multiple ways to complete the objectives. Like, sheep can jump, so I could actually kill the sheep, right? And like, jump them into the fence dead, and then transfer my little Evo to like something else. Granted, that might be kind of a slow way, because Evo, if I'll demonstrate this, if he's out without a host, he slowly depreciates his health. So you actually can't just, go through a whole level as Evo. I like this. The sheep is scripted to jump this way. And then down here. Alright, now we have to herd it. So I'll just kind of show that off though, as far as the alternate approach. Oh, that sheep turned off the... Alright, go ahead and go on in there. Never mind. And as soon as I hit this, ka-ching, objective complete. Let's find that mouse with wheels. Look at how small these levels are. It's just like... it's crazy to think. And I mean, it makes you wonder, like, maybe not necessarily this particular game, but other games that I played, like, as if you play a game young, like, small levels might seem really, really big. And you could, like, just get lost in them, like, for example, as a kid, get lost in them forever. So it begs the question, what about, like, modern games? Like, just as an example, Xenoblade Chronicles, where the open world is ridiculously huge. I want to hear, like, what are some, like, if you were 5 or 6 years old and played that game, like, what was it like? Like, how far could you explore? Like, was it just like this huge universe that was, like, impossible to explore everything? Like, surely it would be just like this cool, effect like that. I don't know. All right. So that's the door we want to open. There's the little raceway. That dog, you might have noticed, did not attack me. However, a lot of animals, if I suddenly start biting this dog, he would start attacking me back. And so it would be easy to kind of quickly die. So check this out. Get close to here and it's like, it's a mouse. And I'm pretty sure that dog automatically attacks the mouse. Or maybe it doesn't, I can't remember. Whoops. Teleporter active, but the dog cannot jump there. I think the way that this is set up, you can't even flutter over there with a sheep. So you absolutely have to use the mouse with its little, oops, that's a tail attack. Its little boost attack to hit this jump and get to the teleporter. So we get the racing dog. So we meet again, Mouse Boy. This time I will win. Get ready to race. 2 laps around the pond. Last to finish. Smells of cheese. And do not fall in the water as the mouse, because you do get damaged. Let's see if I can pull this off even. But hey, I just played Diddy Kong Racing, right? It's all in the shortest distance trick. Oh! Oh, did you see how far we... Uh-oh. Gotta save a little bit of my boost for the very end. Uh-oh. I nursed it too much. I think it attacks me now. Or can I just retry this? Does he have to go back in his house? Okay. So, this is completely optional, but... Uh-oh. I think I have to replay the whole level. Nope! I won before, and I will win again. Let's race. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! What was that? Man, that dog picks up speed in the second half there. Oh! Yeah, did you notice I got collision damage? So the dog didn't attack me, he didn't bite me, but just by running into him, I got damaged. Ha! Curses, Mouse Boy, once again you better me. Ruff! So, trophy. A golden mouse. For some reason, I'm pretty sure in order to keep the trophy, you have to obtain the trophy and then complete the level. Like, I couldn't just exit zone assuming like I had already... Oops. Whoa. I couldn't just exit the zone assuming that I had already beat the course. Now see, those treetops are 3D models. Alright, so there's the first 2 sections. It's getting late, so I gotta power down here. Dan is like the most absolute worthless main character. But it's hilarious because it plays it up like he is the main character and you're just the assistant. So tomorrow we'll...